What are the perks of being a cake baker?
Well, it's really rewarding. A lot of people are very appreciative and happy with the cakes, and they really appreciate the work that I put into the cakes, and they always come back and compliment me on all the cakes that I make, and that's really fun, is to see the results of a cake that I've made for people and what happiness it brought them, I guess you could say.
How long did you have to go to college for your business degree?
Well, I would call it a college degree. I went to school for 2 years, and I got a degree that can be used pretty much anywhere, and it's a little helpful on my resume, and it just sets me apart a little bit from people who haven't gone to school. And I think it gives you a lot of lessons for what you can encounter in the real world. So college was good for that. So that was 2 years.
What are the downsides of being a caker?
It's a really fast-paced job. You always are moving. You never stop. There's a lot to do all the time. You have to work quickly, and you need to make sure that you have everything done, and everything needs to look nice at the same time that you're working so quickly, so you can't be sloppy. So it's really, I guess that would be a downside, is how quickly you have to work all the time, and you need to plan out your breaks.
What's the difference between a baker and a caker?
Alright, so a baker take a little more time mixing the batter and baking the cake, putting it in the oven, and I guess a caker would just be the person who ices the cake and decorates it. So you could have like two different kinds of cake shops. More a specialty cake shop is people that would make the cake from scratch, all the way from the beginning, putting all the stuff into the bowl and mixing it. A lot of retail places just decorate the cakes, so because we need to work quickly, we get the cakes shipped in already baked, and then I just ice them. So that could be the difference there, is how much time you have to spend on a cake with that.
What types of cakes do you make?
Basically all different kinds of flavors and sizes of cakes that I make. So we've got different round cakes, I've got different sheet cakes that are just the square ones, and I do different sizes of those. So, you know, they start out little and then they just keep getting bigger, so we got those square cakes. And then the round cakes, I can do a single layer or a double layer, make it taller. And then we've got different specialty bars. I put some candy on top of some of them, like chocolate bars and Oreos on some of them, and I do cupcakes, of course, and all different kinds of flavors of stuff.
What's the difference between a retail baker and a commercial baker?
So it's mainly about the speed of the cakes and how quickly you need to put them out. In retail, it is just very fast-paced. You need to try to get cakes out quickly, and so you can take a little bit of shortcuts with where you decorate the cakes. So it's more about working quickly, because there's always a lot of cake that you have to put out because you have a lot of customers that come to a grocery store. So you need to have all that ready quickly. A commercial baker, I would call it like a specialty cake shop, somewhere where someone comes in and orders like a really big wedding cake or something really specific that they want to look very special and very nice, and you spend more time on one cake. One cake can take like 3 or 4 hours. So that would be the specialty shop, the commercial baker. You spend a lot of time on that one cake and make it look really nice.
Why do bakers wake up so early?
You got to get a lot done before people come in and see all your work. You got to start early in the morning to make sure you have all your cakes done and put it all out in the case to have it presentable for the customers before they walk in. You want to have everything looking nice for the people who walk in at the beginning. You don't want to still be scrambling to get your work done and people are already coming to see if they want to buy a cake. So you have to make sure you have everything done, and you got to wake up early for that because it takes time to do cakes.
What types of methods do you use?
It's all a very learned, I would say, muscle memory of a lot of things. You need to know the certain way that you put the icing on the cake. So a method would be, how you hold the bag of icing, how you put the icing on the cake, which way and how hard you press the scraper to smooth out the cake. So there are many methods for how you would properly put the icing on the cake. So there's a lot there, and it takes a lot of time to learn that. It took me several years to learn all the different ways and methods and what I use to put the icing on the cake.
Why do you design cupcakes first?
Well, they're the quickest to do, and they're the easiest thing to do, almost. I've done some pretty complicated cupcakes, but for where I work in retail, they're the quickest and the easiest to do. So that would be the quickest way for me to get my case full and to make sure that there's a lot in there and it looks really nice for when customers come in. So that's the fastest way for me to put cake out in the case, is to do the cupcakes first.
And have you ever burned yourself by making a cake?
Probably once or twice I have, is if I'm not holding the pot holder right and I accidentally slip a finger onto the pan when I'm taking the cake out. So that usually comes when I'm baking a cake. So every once in a while I try to be as careful as possible.